somehow the George Santos saga continues to get worse and worse. I keep telling you every time, man, this just keeps getting bad for George Santos, but it's going to get worse. And yeah, I keep unfortunately being proven correct. But wait. Let's get to the details first, okay? I'm putting the cart before the horse. Along with the pathological lying, obviously, that Santos has been engaged in, he is now being accused of sexually harassing a former volunteer and denying him a job and labor violations. Oh, great. Now, the man named Derek Myers had written to the House Ethics Committee claiming that he was offered a job as a staff assistant in Santos's D.C. office on January 23rd. He began working the next day as a volunteer because, you had to get the paperwork in order, right? Now, why would anyone want to work for George Santos / Anthony DeVolder / Anthony Zabrowski or whatever name he decides to go by this week? I don't know. I can't quite figure it out. But okay, sure. He accepts the offer, becomes a volunteer. But, he says, look, it's only for a couple of days until my paperwork, my application clears, and I can become, an assistant. All right? Great. 2 days later, things went south. Generally going south, bad thing. But this way is both literal and figurative. On January 25th, Myers alleges that Santos had asked him in a private meeting if he had a profile on Grindr. Uh-oh. That's right.
Sexual anarchy.
Things are about to go bad. Now, while they were alone in Santos's office, the congressman had also proceeded, allegedly, again, remember this is all alleged, right? To take his hand and move it down my leg into my inner thigh and proceeded to touch my groin. Oh boy.
Testicles.
Myers also said that Santos told him his husband was, quote, out of town if you want to come over, before telling Myers where he lives. Yikes. Again, we don't know if that's the case. Myers responded by saying, I quickly pushed the congressman's hand away and grabbed the mail from the table and proceeded to discuss the topic of constituent correspondence. Yes, right back to work. Now, look, if you think that is, crazy for someone to, in that situation, to just try to change the subject and get back to work, no, that seems actually incredibly plausible. Because remember, there are cases where, women in this situation who have been sexually harassed at work will try to change the subject, redirect, and go back to being professional. And again, the part of that's probably from the shock of something like that happening on the job. So I actually do think that that's a believable part of the story. Okay? Which makes it very plausible that this indeed did happen. But again, we don't know the details. Now, shortly thereafter, he wrote in his letter to the leaders on the House Ethics Committee, I left the personal office and returned to my desk. Again, I don't know if this is true. Allegations, but Myers said on Friday that he did file a police report against Santos with the Capitol Police. And so generally you wouldn't file a police report unless you're pretty sure that there is something that was going on. Okay. Following the alleged incident gets worse. Myers was, of course, let go. He was released from his volunteer duties. But wait, here's where it gets even more interesting. According to Vice, Myers' job was rescinded on February 1st after he was questioned about his background for working in journalism. Myers said that he had disclosed some information about himself, about his previous work experience in previous interviews, and it didn't seem to be a problem. So, interesting. Let's get into the details of that. Myers was charged with felony wiretapping last year after a newspaper in Ohio, where he had served as editor-in-chief, published audio recordings of in-court testimony against a court order. Both the Committee to Protect Journalists and Society of Professional Journalists had condemned the arrest of Myers, so they're on his side. Now, in a tweet on Thursday, which did not refer to the alleged sexual harassment, Myers called those charges against him, quote, fabricated, and said that the issue was deemed over. So now, take everything in here, okay? So you have George Santos in his office. George Santos lied about everything on his resume, lied about being a volleyball star at Baruch College, never went to Baruch College, didn't play. I don't know if he never played volleyball, but he certainly didn't play volleyball for Baruch and did not win the championship or blow out both of his knees. He ran a pet charity that allegedly stole money from a dying veteran's dog. I mean, just all of this stuff. Lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. Okay? This guy, does he want us to believe that it was a problem with this guy's felony conviction? That is the reason that he couldn't work in his office? And that he wasn't upfront and honest about it? Bruh. You don't understand. We cannot be seen hiring an alleged criminal. What? Okay. You have an issue with a felony charge? You have an issue with lying? You do? You do? Hold on. Oh, where is it? Where is it? I don't know. I can't.
Really?
Okay. Yep. Sorry about that. I couldn't find my sound clip. All right. So look, no self-awareness whatsoever. Myers additionally charged that Santos's office did not follow the correct procedures for volunteer work, saying as he had performed duties as a volunteer with the understanding that he'd eventually be employed by Santos's office. So basically, he worked for free for congressional staff. And says that, look, for that time, that free labor, you violated House ethics rules. You know, having free labor offloading work from what would otherwise be done by paid staffers. Interesting. So Santos has denied allegations, of course, telling CNN that it's, quote, comical. Of course I deny that claim. Inquiries to the lawyers for both Santos and Myers for comment were not immediately returned. However, Myers said later on in a statement, "It is an unfortunate series of events, but the matter will hopefully be handled by the appropriate bodies and not litigated through the news media." Sounds like a Republican to me. Again, I don't know if this had happened. I don't know who's right here. The thing about Santos is obviously you can't trust anything he says. But you do have to make sure that this goes through due process. And the first step, of course, of that would be the complaint. And we'll see, of course, if the police actually conduct a real investigation. Because, again, it's not just about the harassment, which, if true, is horrible. But it's the other things, of course. Taking away a job offer because you were rebuked, if you were rejected, if that happened. Right now, there's just not enough facts here, okay, to say who's right either way, which points to the fact that it needs to be investigated and adjudicated.